Hey guys, welcome back to Missing Out Mondays, where we tell you what we're into. Start your week off right. I'm Tauri Jay.
I am Lex Michael.
And we are joined by tomorrow's guest for the main show, Matt Smith.
What's up?
Yo, Matt, what are you into this week?
This week, I'm going to be really into watching True Detective. I've messed the past 2 episodes, and I'm really liking this season.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that goes. And then I'm also going to be into, I don't really care about the Super Bowl or like the football game, but I am into the idea of like stupid rivalries and like people being upset about stuff that they have no real stake in.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm excited to see somebody lose.
Okay.
And then spend the week like memes are gonna be crazy, and just like there's gonna be a lot of shit talking and just like drama.
That's true.
It'll probably only go to like Wednesday, but
See, but
The
to me,
first few days
it'll
of
all
the
be
week.
totally meaningless to me because it is so not on my radar. I'm so not a sports person. I couldn't tell you who's playing.
Yeah.
For example.
So we record this before Monday, as you might know. But we also, I think the game is going on while we were recording, or it's going to happen right after we record.
Yeah.
So either, hooray, the LA Rams
Oh
won.
right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Or boo, the New England Patriots?
Is it the Patriots?
Is it
yeah,
the
it's the
Patriots?
Patriots and the Rams, which like I don't. It's weird. I'm not a sports fan, but I know a lot about sports. Like I understand the rules and some of the rivalries. I like watching sports documentaries. So I think that's how I got there.
Yeah.
But like everyone hates the Patriots except for the people that love the Patriots, which is like 7 of them, and they all live in New England.
Yeah.
Right.
So the rest of the country is like fuck the Patriots, but there's also this weird concentration of like LA natives who are like, no, the Rams aren't our team, like the Raiders. Remember when we had the Raiders and it was Raiders Nation? And like, so it's just like no one really is gonna win this Super Bowl, is all I know. So it's just gonna be dramatic, and someone's gonna be angry either way. And I also, from what I know of all the sports ball, like I feel like the NFL is probably one of the most like controlled and probably rigged of all the different leagues out there.
Yeah.
Um,
It's definitely the most controversial.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit happening with that.
We've
so
almost certainly already made at least 17 people angry. Just
Yep.
bringing it up.
Yeah, just and like there's like black people performing in the halftime show, and like the rest of black people are upset about it, and like some black people don't care. So I'm excited to see like black people fighting each other
You are a big World Star
dumb
fan.
over dumb black shit. Like I'm just like it's just gonna be so messy that no matter what happens, like Twitter's gonna be on fire. So
Nice. Oh, man. So I'm into... Well, last week I talked about how I was doing a bunch of research for Kingdom Hearts. And so now the game has come out as of last week, and I officially beat it last night. It was everything I could have hoped for. I'm not going to spoil anything in case you're like reaching for your phone or your device to be like, no, he's going to spoil it all. No, but it's great. It looks beautiful. They find a way to tie in all the like in between games. It is a worthy sequel. The only part that I dislike in the whole game is just the Pirates of the Caribbean level, because I hate boats. And I hate water levels, and I hate Johnny Depp's face. It's all these things. All this. It's a
slow down for a second. What is it about boats that you hate? Do you hate being on them
No,
specifically, or you just hate the concept of boats? Like if man was meant to glide over water, we would have fins and whatnot.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You see any gills on this bitch? No. It's more like the mechanics of boats in video games, but also like I have a big fear of open bodies of water. It doesn't matter. Not important. None of those things are important.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
I mean, still very beautiful level. It's just mechanically annoying.
Question.
Yes.
Why specifically the fear of big bodies of water? Is it just a matter of it goes down
Because
indefinitely?
drowning's the
who
dumbest
knows?
way to die, Lex.
Okay,
I mean,
fair.
it's-
That's the dumbest way.
Right.
You're gonna sit there and drown. You could have just not drowned if you stayed on water.
Right, just don't leave the dock.
You ain't got no gills.
Right. But no, for me, honestly, what does unsettle me a little bit is this idea that we have no real idea what is down there.
Right.
What types of life that
we're not ready for it either.
No, one of you, because you brought up pirates in relation to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
One of the most unsettling images that I can think of that sort of makes this point is it's the second one. It's in Dead Man's Chest, and it's the first time I think you see second time the Kraken takes down the ship that Orlando Bloom is on.
Yeah.
And he hits the water, and underwater he opens his eyes and you see the body of the Kraken down there, and that to this day gives me chills and whatnot. So that I get.
Well, so I got that feeling even before the movies came out. There's an episode of the new Johnny Quest Adventures. It's the first episode.
Okay.
That because it was when Cartoon Network had just started releasing their own new like original programming beyond just the old Hanna-Barbera stuff. And so they did new Johnny Quest, where Johnny Quest is a teenager instead of being a young kid. And the first episode is there's what they believe to be a Kraken taking down submarines. And so like I got that response just from seeing this submarine get squished by all these tentacles, and I was like, fuck that. I was like, you go in the ocean and you're like, you go from the top of the food chain to the bottom. You're like, you're nothing.
We're just, humans aren't meant for that. That's not where we're supposed to be at. Like, and I mean, that's why, like, I don't know, maybe there are fish people. Like, maybe there are aqua people.
Yeah.
Right, with
Atlanteans
emoting
and
helmets
stuff.
and shit.
Yeah, like people who didn't get out of the
That's
water,
the line.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Lex, what are you into?
Okay, so you and I talked a little bit about it before we started recording today, but I want to talk about that Hobbs and Shaw trailer.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
shit was great.
I don't know. So are you guys like, are you Fast and Furious people?
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Yeah, I started with the first one, and then I jumped back on the wagon on the fifth one, and have been watching since.
Okay,
Oh,
so
you haven't seen Tokyo Drift?
No.
dude, Tokyo Drift is better than it gets credit for. Plus, it's got Sonny Chiba, and Sonny Chiba is the truth.
Okay.
But so I saw the first Fast and Furious when it came out, and I saw the second one. I remember seeing it in theaters, and then got the distinct impression that it wasn't really gonna be my thing. And then when the fifth one came out, everybody was like, "Oh, holy shit!" Like they got Dwayne Johnson, and they suddenly nailed it. They've completely perfected their alchemy, and this is definitely worth seeing. And I'm the type of person who's a completionist, so if I'm gonna watch something that I know is semi-serialized, I'm gonna go back to the beginning and I'm gonna catch up. I have become, in the time since, such a fan of this franchise, because in terms of seriously though, in terms of building a world and building long form continuity across movies, they're doing it better than anybody that isn't Marvel.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have expected that when they started, certainly, and they've been doing it longer than Marvel has, right? That first one was early 2000s. Granted, it took till number 5 for them to decide that was going to be their approach.
Right.
But it is the most comic booky, ridiculous, over the top, like bro love thing. And I kind of fell in love with these movies. By the time you get to Fate of the Furious, you've got Charlize Theron controlling an army of robots. Cars and whatnot. Yeah. But of course, two characters that consist, like, really popped, started with number 5 forward. You've got Dwayne Johnson's Luke Hobbs, and you've got Jason Statham's Deckard Shaw. Yeah. And watching their interactions, especially in Fate of the Furious, where they ally themselves, there we go, with their former adversary. Sidebar, real weird that they just invite this dude to join the crew and nobody mentions that he killed their friend Han. That always bugged me. Yeah. But really popped, and their interactions specifically popped. So this was kind of a no-brainer if we were going to start spinning these off. Presumably this trailer makes Vin Diesel very angry. But now we're one step now we're one step closer, though, right? We had an army of remote control cars in the last one. Where do you go at that point? Like, there's a tank chase over ice and stuff. Where do you go from there except
fucking
space?
Superman.
But like, where do you go except space and whatnot? So I feel like looking at this trailer where you've got those two characters coming back, and then you've also got Idris Elba as this villain who is essentially superhuman. Mm-hmm. It looks like he's technologically advanced, but you're fighting a more or less now an officially superpowered person, right? Because Tauri, what you and I were talking about before we started recording was that they've all been like this. Luke Hobbs at one point in one of these movies rips a bench out of the ground and starts, benching the bench.
Yeah.
Or you've got Vin Diesel, who in Furious 7 has that line to Jason Statham where he's like, that's the thing about street fights. The street always wins. And then he brings his foot down on the roof and takes down the entire parking structure. So these characters have been pseudo-superhuman for some time, and now we have our first officially, canonically sanctioned, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
This guy, within the context of this goofy world, is a superhuman. One step closer to these dudes going to space, which really excites me.
There's nowhere else to go but space. Yeah.
Right. And like the bits in the trailer make it look like a super, super fun movie. It's directed by, I'm going to mess up the pronunciation of his last name, but it's David Leitch, the guy who did Deadpool 2, is one of the John Wick directors. So I assume the thing is going to look cool. I'm hyped for this. I don't know about y'all, but I am hyped for this film. I saw this trailer, which was originally going to be a Super Bowl spot, I think, and that's why it's a little bit longer than I feel like I wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. But I was like, all right, I'm going to give this my money.
Yeah. No, it looks good. It looks like it's going to be a fun movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that they're still antagonistic. It's going to be very like buddy cop, Harry and Maude. What is that?
Harold and Maude?
Yeah, what is that?
It's not buddy cops.
Okay, well, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be real.
But
buddy
I'm thinking
cop.
more of like a lethal weapon type thing. Yeah.
But guys, what are you into this week? Let us know on our social media.
Just go outside and yell, and we'll maybe hear.
Smoke signals, baby.
Messenger.
That's where it's at. No, let us know on social media. This show is Missing Outcast, MISSING OUTCAST on Instagram and Twitter. But Matt, where can they find you?
Find me at Wrong Matt Smith on Instagram.
Hell yeah. Lex, what about you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at the Lex Michael.
Damn. But also, guys, join us tomorrow where Matt Smith is going to be talking to us about virtual cinematography.
Shit's crazy. The future's crazy.
It's just true, yo. But yeah, if you have something that you're into, let us know by calling the Missing Out hotline. The number is 978. Miss out 978 miss out. That's 978 MISSOUT. And we will see you tomorrow for the main show. Until then, bye.
Put the lotion in the basket.
This is like that thing that Beck would do a whole bunch, where he'd get to the end of a song and then just add these crashing and distortion sounds, like the whole system's breaking down at the end.
There's a lot of Silence of the Lambs references happening today.
Welcome to my home, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Who's still listening?